Hi, all. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm having a
Can you hear me?
visual. Yes, I can hear you. I'm having a visual issue on my end in terms of my. I'm not sure exactly why my camera isn't coming up, so we'll fix that at some point. But I wanted
Oh,
to take a moment to officially welcome you and thank you for joining us for a series of webinars that we will be doing over the next few months. But I thought it was once I saw the news article, Lisa, I sent you an email and saw the great work that you guys were doing and how it was being covered by the media at Bloomfield College. Obviously, with us having our first female president and first African American president, there's a lot of conversation going on about women and all women lives mattering, right? It's a different, sort of a different narrative. And that
hmm
stood out to me as well. As much as we're talking about Black Lives Matter, and we know how our Black young ladies and women are treated in this country, how appropriate for a presentation to come forth that focuses on all women. And I think it's important for not just women to celebrate this documentary, but for men too. Um, Lisa, would you like to introduce the team?
yes. So I'm Lisa Durden, and I am a long time Newarker. I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. Before we had the University Hospital, we had Martland Hospital, which is the Stanley S. Bergen building. So I'm telling my age. Um, so I grew up in the city of Newark, and like many cities, Newark is not different than any other city USA. We always have these narratives about how Newark or cities like Newark have negative connotations. The people here are negative, individuals are negative. There's nothing going on that's positive. Nobody's doing anything great in the city of Newark or cities like Atlanta, Philadelphia, Chicago. So as a Newarker, I always wonder, well, I'm doing great things. What about other people? So as I got older and I began to be a journalist and a filmmaker, I always had my eye on, what they call the good bleep story. When I did the Brick City docu-series, a man saw a shooting on the street and he said, why don't you tell a good bleep story? He was very angered by always having that camera hot on negative stories. So I listened to him. This is in 2009. I said, he's right. There's always the news media and media outlets talking about the negatives of Newark, which of course in big cities, negatives do happen. But in big cities, positives do happen. So I discovered a positive individual by chance. She honored me at her Clap Award for excellence in journalism, Allison the Youthpreneur James. So I met her through being honored at her award ceremony. I'm like, oh, who's this and who's this organization? I don't have kids, so I don't keep it with all the organizations that help young people. So I went there and I got the award, and I was so glad to be honored. And it was almost like we were kind of like connected ever since then. So Allison, the Youthpreneur James, as they call her, because she loves youth. So she's self-titled herself the Youthpreneur. She has this organization called Girls Live, Love, Laugh. And so I became familiar with them through that. And then over the years, I kind of never forgot about her. We reconnected about 2 years ago at another event. And she said, let's get together and do some PR work for me and some other things. And then when I began my journey, getting my master's in fine arts, my MFA, I'm getting that now at the School of Visual Arts. I'll be graduating in May of 2021. So I'll be circling back to do some more work with Bloomfield College. But we had to do projects. So I thought, okay, we have to do a project about an NGO, a nonprofit. Let me see if they would be open to me, documenting them. So I pitched the idea to the instructor and she said, well, it's in New Jersey, and a lot of the students come to this school from New York. They may not want to do the project. If some students want to do the project with you, have at it. So I sent all the students an email, hey guys, instead of me doing something in New York, who wants to jump on this bandwagon to do something about some girls in Newark? And Shangze Li jumped on the bandwagon from the first email. So that's kind of how this little engine that could started as an NGO film that turned into a short film. So the first entree into one of the characters is Allison, the Youthpreneur James. She's the founder of the organization. So we featured her in the film Girls Matter because of course she's the main person, but also too, as we went along kind of trying to figure out, well, what's the story and how are we going to tell this story, the team, we discovered this little young lady named Kamryn Onque. Hopefully she's not sleeping, but her dad is on here. So Kamryn Onque became one of the main characters of the Girls Matter short, which is really discussing what wonderful things Allison, the youthpreneur James, is doing here with the girls in the city of Newark through her organization, Girls Live, Love, Laugh. And she's the ambassador of the organization. So we feature this 9-year-old Kamryn Onque also in the film. But then we couldn't do this without her dad. We decided to shoot, some of their little workshops, to see if we can find some characters to feature. And her dad, Suliman Onque, is one of the facilitators who facilitates the sip and paint workshop. So he's here also to chat with you guys about why he's so involved with the organization and why he felt his daughter would learn a lot from being a part of the organization. So he's here. But last but not least, Shangze Li, like I said, jumped on the bandwagon to say, let me help you tell this story about young girls in the city of Newark, not just young Black girls, but young girls, because the organization accepts all girls. But we know that, Newark is a Black city. So a lot of the girls are Black girls and girls of color. So we wanted to amplify their voices as well about the leadership skills that they're learning and the leaders that they are. So we have Shangze Li. He's the dope AF cinematographer. He did a great job shooting. So we had this little team. I mean, 2 other members could not come. Sofia, she's moving. Sofia Zhang, she's the producer. And Jiang, Jiang, he's also another cinematographer. And we just thought it was a great thing. So fast forward, Terrence Bankston saw that NJ.com picked up the story. We're kind of doing the festival circuit now, because as the director, I always like to get the stories out. They don't want to just sit on our shelves. So I thought the story of Girls Matter, and I thought it was a very apropos title, Girls Matter, because girls matter. I thought it'd be great to just try to pitch it to film festivals, since I have some relationships with many film festivals as a filmmaker. Some I did not. And many of them thought it was a great idea. And the NJ.com picked up the story and thought it was wonderful that we were talking about young ladies in Newark, and that this woman, Allison, the youthpreneur James, was at the helm. We call her our Shiro. And so that's kind of who we are, the crew and the cast. And we're here to let you see the 5-minute, what I call the sweet 5-minute film. And we're ready to talk about, whatever questions you may have or comments you may want to make.
Yes, and so before I show the clip, I just want to also acknowledge we have 2 phenomenal young ladies, leaders who are on our campus, who will kind of lead for the students, the question and answer segment after we show the clip. And I'm just going to quickly allow them to pop in and introduce themselves. We see Samaja getting her hair together. She
Looking
is
cute, girl.
Yes, she is. Samaja is our Greek Council president, and she's also a proud sorority member. I'll let her introduce her sorority. I don't say it the way they can. And then we have Destiny Rogers, who I'm very proud of as well. She's our vice president for organizational affairs, but she's also a sister of a sorority as well. And I will let them both introduce themselves as I prep for us to go to the film. I believe our president is on. I'll go in the chat and see if she wants to say hello. But definitely a big shout out to our leader, Dr. Marquita Evans. So Major, you want to say a few words?
Hi guys, I'm Kyle, the Bloomfield College Greek Council president, and I am a proud member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. If you guys watched the Macy's Day Parade yesterday, we performed Black Greek letter organization that performed during the Macy's Day Parade. So that's really exciting as women. And I'm excited to see what your film is about. And thank you, ladies, for recognizing women. It's great.
Destiny, anything from you?
Hi, so I'm in the car right now, but my name is Destiny Rogers. I'm the Vice President of Organizational Affairs for BCSG, and I'm also a proud sister of Lambda Tau Omega Sorority Incorporated. And yeah, I'm really happy to be there. I can't wait to see this film.
Okay, just stand by.
that full screen, Karen. Make that full screen in the corner.
Miss Allison is the
Bottom
founder.
right. Yep.
And I like her because she gets to plan all the activities that we're gonna do, and also she's just a very nice person. So the pajama party is you get to wear pajamas, and different girls get to come there, and they might want to join Girls of a Laugh. I found out about Girls of a Laugh because my mom, she wanted me to be in a program in my free time.
The mission of Girls Live, Love, Laugh Incorporated is simply what the name of the organization is, to allow each girl to live, love, and laugh out loud. What we do at Girls Live, Love, Laugh Inc. is teach our girls how to be self-motivated. We help increase their self-esteem. We host workshops on bullying prevention, social media classes. We expose them to college life because a lot of the girls have not been exposed to what college is all about. One of the things we do with the girls is take them to a leadership camp to increase their leadership skills at Princeton Blair's Town Center. This is a 5-day, 4-night leadership camp. The girls are taught how to go hiking, do high ropes, they are taught public speaking, how to be an impact in their community. This happens every year. The girls absolutely love it. We're going out in the community every day, working with domestic violence victims, homeless individuals. We providing them with food for the holidays. I want them to know the gift of giving, the gift of serving their community, the gift of civic engagement. We host etiquette classes. Etiquette classes is a great way to boost girls' self-esteem. So when they go into places and they go into nice restaurants, they know the difference between a salad fork and a dinner fork. They leave the organization feeling very proudful and motivated. One of the young ladies in our program is Kamryn, Onque. She came into the organization a little timid and shy. She was really bashful at times. But now, since being in the organization and coming to our self-esteem workshops, she's emerging into one of Girls Live, Love, Laugh ambassadors.
What the ambassador does, I just get to be myself and unravel, and I get to make more friends.
She taught me a lot of things I really want to do, and I think that it's fun to play and paint and do cartwheels and just have fun. Thank you, Kamryn.
Her father actually teaches the sip and paint workshops. He's providing them the skills to become great artists. Not only that, he allows them to paint images of themselves.
But what I like most about him being the instructor is that I get to spend more time with my dad. The Girls Matter Walk is we're just trying to convince people that girls also matter. It's not just all about men all the time. Girls are humans too. Girls matter.
Hold on, everyone can hear me, right?
Yes.
So before I turn it over to Destiny and Samasia, it's a powerful clip. What else is behind there? What else can we expect? I want to direct that to Lisa and Mrs. James. And then I want to turn over to Samaja and Destiny for some questions. And I will filter questions from Facebook audience.
You're muted, Lisa.
I'm muted. Oh, I can start. For those people who are joining us now, maybe they didn't hear my introduction, but I felt in this documentary, Girls Matter, obviously girls matter. And we know that it sounds obvious, but we all know that really when we think about girls, particularly girls, Black and brown girls, they don't really matter even to the Black community. This is why people like R. Kelly was able to rake many girls over decades with videos even to prove it, and nobody still arrested him. This is why the Breonna Taylor case, although she's a young woman, she's still a woman. We start out as girls and turn into women. That's why the Breonna Taylor case took 3 months for people to care about that case. You know, when it comes to Black males, you know, the Black community in particular, they love Black males, George Floyd and these others, which obviously we should love Black males. We stand by Black males, but we seem to, Black women and girls seem to be an afterthought. So this is why we're able to see Black women and girls be ignored. Our stories aren't being told. So what I wanted to do when I pitched this to the class at the School of Visual Arts as a project initially for one of our senior thesis projects, and Shangze Li, who's a cinematographer, will talk about why he wanted to jump on and amplify their voices, was because I wanted to say, hey, this woman, Allison James Friesen, the youthpreneur and the founder of Girls Live, Love, Laugh, she thinks girls matter. This organization, we wanted to focus on how this organization impacts girls' lives at a critical time, particularly at a critical time in our history now, with what has happened to Breonna Taylor and lots of young women and girls around the country and the world. So this film is really not just about girls in Newark. Of course, that's where we focused on these particular girls' voices, but this is the girls' voices anywhere USA, Philadelphia, Chicago, New York, and other places where big cities have young girls that people pretty much ignore because they feel like these young girls can't be leaders, and they don't have self-esteem, and they don't have moms and dads. You know, like, you know, it's a thing where we're always talking about single moms and single households, single parent households. That does happen, but you know, Kamryn Onque, who's the ambassador, has a mom and a dad. You know, I wanted to show that there's this wonderful thing going on in the city of Newark, and I really thank Allison James for letting us come in with the cameras. I want to thank Shangze Li for saying, hey, let's do this, Lisa. And I want to thank the producer and editor who's not here, Sofia. I'm getting some. Hold on for a second. I wanted to thank Sofia. She's not able to come in for being the other cinematographer. I'm the director of the film. For us coming together as a team and being able to say, let's amplify these voices unapologetically. So that's kind of my spiel. And for those of you who are just joining in, that's kind of why I felt it was a wonderful thing to do and to really make sure that we showcase what's going on with young youth and young girls here in the city of Newark.
Okay. Hello, my name is Allison James. I am the CEO and founder of Girls Live, Love, Laugh Incorporated. I started Girls Live, Love, Laugh because of my upbringing. I am a survivor of domestic violence, child sexual abuse, gun violence, and homelessness. Growing up in the projects in Newark was really rough for young girls such as myself. And what I noticed as I was getting older is that there were no resources that were being provided to families that were living in the projects. And because of that, my life turned out the way that it did. I didn't know about the resources that were out there that can help me with my domestic violence situation, my homeless situation. So as I got older, experiencing a lot of trauma in my life, a lot of things start to happen. I must say that, you know, I got to give God his credit. You know, I sat down one day, my brother had got shot, and he didn't think he was going to make it. So I sat down and I talked with God, and he spoke back to me, and he laid it on my heart to start an organization like Girls Live, Love, Laugh Incorporated. One day I was driving around the city of Newark, not even realizing that I was taking a tour of all the blocks that I used to hang out on when I was a young girl. And I saw it. And before that, when I was driving around Newark, it was normal behavior for me. But now I'm a little mature, and I realized that hanging on the street, smoking and playing hooky from school and things like that was not normal behavior. And I woke up one day and said, I want to start an organization for girls in the city of Newark. Didn't know what I wanted to do and how I was going to do it, because I never heard of a word such as a mentor program. One of my friends told me, oh, so you want to start a mentor program? I researched what mentor programs were all about. And before I knew it, in 2009, I founded Girls Live, Love, Laugh, Inc. with just a high school diploma. I didn't have any training. No one taught me about how to start a nonprofit. I pretty much self-taught myself everything, because I was determined to start this workshop with young girls in the city of Newark, to provide them with resources and let them know that they had a safe haven to go to when things such as, whatever it is they may have been experienced, they had a place to come to and talk to positive women about their situations.
I like that a lot. Before I pose any more questions, I do want to turn it over to our student leaders. Samasia, Destiny.
Thank you, ladies. I just want to say that is a great reasoning. Your program is absolutely amazing. Even though it was a short film, I was literally over here touched, like literally it touched me, seriously. How do you say it? The youthpreneur? I'm saying it right?
Yes.
I'm just really, oh wow. I'm like, wow. I'm really surprised that I'm from South Jersey, so I've never heard of a youth mentorship other than Girl Scouts. I love that this is towards our young women of color. I love that because I know I was in Girl Scouts coming up, and I've always felt left out. Like Girl Scouts, even though it was a youth mentoring program, I just always felt like Girl Scouts wasn't for me. It wasn't the people of my skin color helping me out. So like, you're not able to help me the way someone else could help me. That might like sound crazy to some, but that's how I felt in Girl Scouts.
All right.
Hello? Am I still here?
Yes, you're there.
Okay. But I do have a question. What age groups, I don't know if you guys said that, what age group is your mentorship program directed towards?
We start at the age 6 years old all the way up to 13. We like to start while they're young, because this is the same, the things that young girls learn when they're young, it follows them throughout their life.
Right. I have another question. Would you ever go older to like 18 or no?
We tried to go older in the past, but what we have learned is that once girls get into high school, there's so many other opportunities for them. They're into playing sports now, they're cheering, they like to go get their hair and nails done. So we pretty much took it down to 13 for the middle school girls. We've been having a lot of success with middle school girls, but we are always looking for, college age women to come and mentor the girls and share their stories and host workshops with our young girls.
Yeah, that was my next question. How do we get involved as student leaders, people in sorority? How do we get involved?
If you go to our website, it's a email address on there. You could just send an email to that address, and we'll reach out to you. And just a FYI, I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
I was catching it. It was a lot. I didn't want to ask. I'm like, it's a lot of pink and green going on in here.
Wait, but she wore me out in this film. Every time I had to film Allison, right, Shangze, when we go to the different events, she had on pink and green, even when it wasn't a pink and green event. We interviewed her at her house for the what you saw in the film. I'm like, she's got on pink and green again today. Like, okay, I'm giving up.
Hey, I gotta represent.
Miss James, you will love this. I can tell you now, our president, she's getting her hair done. She doesn't mind me sharing that. Her family is obviously in town. She has some amazing daughters. They're watching and tuned in, but she's an AKA, so I know she's
Hey,
cracked
hey,
up now
Stevie.
and proud of that. Um, Destiny, I know you do, and you do a program annually, and you have one that's coming up, or at least we're collaborating, something to that effect around domestic violence. I know that that's an important issue to you in terms of protecting women and having resources available to them. Is there anything that you want to touch on with that, or is there any specific questions you have?
Oh, my hair look crazy. Yes, my program that I do every year is actually sexual assault. I am a survivor, so I really like to focus on that, and I'm actually planning on doing a lot of things after college. So my biggest question is like, how would I go about, like, because I really want to start like a mentorship, like with like young ladies, basically teaching them how to deal with sexual assault, they're a survivor, and basically like stuff like that. Like I want to deal with survivors, especially younger survivors, because I didn't have anybody that I felt like I could speak to. So I kind of want to be like that mentor for them. So like, how would you kind of like recommend I would be able, how like I could start it?
You start by telling your story. Your story is going to relate to so many young girls that are going through the same experiences that you are going through. And once you get your audience, you feed off that audience, you build off that audience. You just pretty much have to be true to who you are, not be ashamed to share your story and tell your truth, and people are going to gravitate to your story. You just have to come up with your mission and your purpose of your organization. And if you need any assistance with starting your organization, you can reach out to me, and I wouldn't mind helping you start your organization.
Okay, thank you. And other than that, I just want to say I thought the film was beautiful. I love what you're doing with the girls. I wish I had something like that when I was younger, but I'm glad that you have, especially in the city of Newark. Like, I'm not from here, but now like living in Bloomfield after college, I go to Newark, I see, like, I've met people from Newark, I see how hard it was growing up without that influence. So I really like what you guys are doing, and congratulations, keep it up.
And I hear that a lot of times. I even say it myself, that I wish a program like Girls Live, Love, Laugh was available when I was young. You know, when we were younger, there was really nothing there for young girls to do. It's like you said, Girl Scouts was always there. But where I grew up in the projects, there was literally nothing for us to do. Our positive role models were our parents and our teachers, and that was the furthest it went. And we just need to make sure that these young girls are getting the mentorship that they need, other than their teachers and their parents. There's so many positive women in the city of Newark, in the connecting community. I really believe that every young girl should have a mentor in their lives.
Right. Definitely. Is that it? Well, I had another question.
Yeah.
It only showed. Oh, Terrence, take the spotlight off of me.
Oh,
I
sorry.
think I'm still on spotlight.
Okay.
I have another question for you. Would you ever venture outside of the city of Newark, like East Orange, like Essex County, besides Newark?
Yes, we mentor all girls. We have a young lady that lives in Staten Island that's in our program. We have girls coming from Plainfield, East Orange, Irvington. We open our doors to everyone. Newark is just a home base, but I would never turn around a girl because of their zip code.
That's beautiful. Awesome program.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask Mr. Lee. I do entertainment, but I also was a TV communications major in Arts High, and so I learned early on what a cinematographer was. Tell us, for those who may not know, what that is, and why your role is so important in telling these type of stories.
That's interesting. So, what I think that I define myself as a cinematographer only because I have this patience to really look at things that's happening, and I think that's like the number one like rule of thumbs if you want to be a cinematographer, is that you have to wait for the things to happen. Yes, director has the mind of the story. She has the storyline, but in order to put image into that storyline, you need to be the like the cinematographer to it's a cinematographer who's executing this thing that you actually see on the screen. So you have to have that patience to wait for things to happen, and you have to find it by yourself. So I think one thing that I think why is cinematographer important is that you are responsible for what people see on the screen later on after the film's being released. So I think that's a very big thing that you have to be responsible for. So I think that's, I don't know if that answered your question, but I think that's one thing I think that is a very important about being a cinematographer.
Is there, and what maybe, is there a certain approach that you took as you heard this story, as you kind of walk us through your process in terms of what compelled you? Is there anything that you sort of looked for? Is there anything that stood out to you as you covered this particular presentation?
So I was talking about this last time when we were in another panel. So the reason why I said yes so quick, like Lisa said, she sent her first email, and I was right after I said yes. So why is that? Is because me myself, I have a younger sister. So my younger sister, she's in China. So growing up, seeing my sister growing up, really, makes me think that she's really fortunate to have all these resources. She has this good education. She has place to live in. She has place to sleep in, which makes me think that I want other girls to have the same conditions. I want the other girls to have the same resources. Doesn't matter which part in the world, doesn't matter which part in the earth, but I want other girls to have the same quality of life, which, down to us, this filmmaker, to make them speak through our camera. So that's one reason why I think I said yes so quick, because I've been to those very poor area in China. Just their girl has no way to go to school. Either the school is too far, either they're just too poor to go to school, they cannot afford the tuition, or they're girls. So I really hate that, to be honest. So I want to change that, and I think that's one of like my biggest passion about this project, is that I can have this chance to actually make girls speak. Yep.
Lisa, you have other guests. I don't know if the young lady's dad is on it. Is he here?
Yeah, I don't know. Can you send him that host link again? Because I don't know, he was on there first. And can you guys unmute your cameras, because people want to see your faces. You just have names. So I see Terrence, you're on here twice. So can you unmute both cameras? I'm only
No,
seeing...
because the camera is broken on this side. As far as everybody's on the other side, let me produce on this end.
Oh, because no, somebody was writing.
Please do your thing, okay?
Okay. Somebody was writing that they couldn't see the faces. That's all. No, I got it.
The girl's father is actually in the attendees.
Yeah,
I will pull. So he probably couldn't get back in. I'm gonna pull him into promote him as a host.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. Yeah, because people are like, I can't see the faces, so I'm reading the comments. So yeah.
Really quickly, Mr. Li, hats off to you, because you did exactly what you said you wanted to do. You allowed your camera to allow them to speak, and it was a very beautiful film.
Thank you.
Very beautiful film.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What's the question again, Terrence? I was just looking at the comments. I'm sorry about that.
I was trying to get Mr. Allison on. I wanted to kind of hear his perspective.
This is Suliman. Yeah, he's coming in. That's Kamryn's dad.
Okay, here he is. I see.
Technology. Technology.
So we have Mr. Suliman there, right?
Is he here now? Oh,
there he is. Oh, wow.
Hey.
What's up, man?
Hey.
First of all, my hat's off to you.
He was on mute.
I was saying my hat's off to you, sir. I have a 13-year-old, rearing her. I like to say our children are reared. and animals are raised. So rearing my daughter here at 13, and she turns 14 in January, I'm just cringing at that. I admire your strength and your leadership and your visionary and just being there to support. Even looking at this picture now, it is a postcard. It is a story to tell. Just looking at that. How did you get involved and linked to this organization? And I know that you do more. You host paint and sips and things of that nature. Tell us a little bit about what you do and why is it important for fathers to be involved?
Fathers being involved is everything. You can see the difference between people that don't have the father in their life and the ones that who do have that father figure, whether it's the biological or stepfather, grandfather, uncle, somebody that's there. It does matter to have a balance of feminine and masculine, and you can see the difference. Like I say, statistically, you can see the difference, and we need people to know that fathers also matter as well. And I just want to just do what I do because out of love, that's how I am with my children. I actually have 6 children, and this is my youngest child. And for me to be able to work and do art and pass on art to the young ones, that's going to be able to help them propel and keep art moving for the future is an honor for me. I learned about the organization through my wife and Allison, and they asked for Kamryn to be a part of it, and we were honored with that. We're happy about that. My wife is also with in the organization of Alpha Kappa Alpha, Sorority Incorporated, and we appreciate the love that they put in together. And for her to just do this is very helpful, and I'm happy and proud of Kamryn.
And also it's true that my mom's an AKA. We even have I even made my own ivy plant.
I was going to ask you a question next. Tell us about that. What is that? What is that plan?
Basically, what my mom does is she cuts like a little piece of the plant off, and she like replants it and makes it a whole different one.
Why is it important to you to have role models and to have mentors like your dad and your mom and others in your life?
It's important because if I didn't have them, then I don't know what I would be doing.
And what can folks like myself? I have a bunch of student leaders. You want to go to college one day? Is that something you're thinking about?
Of course, I'm planning to go to an HBCU.
Okay. Well, Bloomfield College is not an HBCU, but it's a PBI, predominantly Black college, and we are looking for ways to connect our student leaders to individuals like you to help you out and to support you and support other young ladies like yourself. How can we do that? We got to talk to your dad, talk to your mom. What's...
That's funny. Kids are funny.
We definitely, she's gonna follow footsteps of the ones that led before her. Most of my children all went to college and doing very well, and she has good role models. With as her mother is definitely a great role model, and I can't have a better wife. I couldn't have a better wife and mother for my children.
Miss Allison, how is it important to have a supportive man in your household, a supportive husband, a supportive father? How does that help you in terms of your mission and your passion and the work that you do?
Well, with me, I know what it felt like not to have a father in a household. My father was killed when I was 17 years old, and he was like my biggest supporter throughout my entire life since birth. He would call me his Aldu as a leader. He would tell me how smart I was and how I was going to conquer the world. He saw things in me that I didn't see in myself. So I actually had plans to go to college after I graduated from high school. I wanted to, but once my father died, my self-esteem died with him. I didn't have that, getting teary-eyed. Sorry. I didn't have that, male role model anymore, telling me how smart I was, how beautiful I was. I was scared to leave home. I was ashamed that my father got murdered. He was killed due to a domestic violence relationship he was in. The person that he was dating, she got drunk and she just stabbed him.
You know, one day my father here, the next day he's not. How does a teenager deal with that? So we didn't have that role model in our life. My oldest brother took on the responsibility of raising 6 sisters. You know, it was 6 girls in a house, and he took on a role model as a father and a big brother. Now I am happily married. I have one daughter. Her name is Rashana, and my husband and I, I have my daughter and me time, and he has his father and daughter time. So it's different because I see how important, she's 13. I see how important it is to have a male figure in your life, because your father is the first man that you love. He's the first man that you're exposed to, that you cherish, that you listen to, and they're supposed to set positive role models for the next man that's coming in your life. And if you don't have that male figure showing you how a man should treat you, then anything is possible to happen to a young girl. You know, like, and then my mom died a little while after my father passed away, and I became an orphan at 23 years old. I didn't have any parents, and my whole life was just shattered. So with mentors, if a child doesn't have a mother, if something happens to their mother, there's always a mentor or somebody besides your aunt or your grandmother that can show you positive paths in life.
I like that a lot. Wondering if Sir Major or Destiny had any, final remarks or comments.
I'm sorry. How do you say Kamryn's dad's name?
You muted, Suliman. It's Suliman, right?
Oh, yeah.
You gotta go over here.
Suliman.
Yeah, Suliman.
Thank you. On behalf of all the brown girls that you support, I'm going to say thank you. I love that you are a supportive father and you take pride in being in your father's life. As well as Miss Allison, I lost my father when I was 17 as well. And that has been my push to go to college and my push to get out of the life I was in. But I also did have another positive male figure in my life, which is my grandfather and my grandparents. They've been together for, I believe, going on 56 years, married for 47 of those years. So thank you. Kamryn, I have a question for you. Do you feel like the friends you make in Girls Live, Love, Laugh will be your friends forever?
Yes.
You do? Do you like the program? Do you see yourself being a mentor one day?
Maybe, because before this, my sister said that she gave me like a little pep talk, and she asked me how does it feel to be like a role model and 9 years old, and I said great, because like I had like realized more that I've already been like a leader, kind of like my mom already.
I think you're a role model. I'm listening to you talk and I'm like, why wasn't I like this at 9 years old? You're being a role model for a 21-year-old right now. You are a great role model.
Yep.
Yes, she is.
I'm very proud of her, extremely proud of her.
Extremely.
It makes it easy for me to do the things that I do for her.
And that's funny you said that, because the things that Allison is doing with the girls at Girls Live, Love, Laugh, and why I thought it was a great idea to focus on telling this narrative in the Girls Matter film is because of that exact thing you just said. Like when I'm 56 now. When I was 9, like we were taught, anybody who's over the age of 45 knows, we were taught, kids are seen, not heard, instead of grown folks' business. So like we were not taught. I mean, I'm a talker now because I'm an adult and I force myself to get over the shame of having an opinion. But this is different now. So when I see people like Kamryn, the ambassador of Girls Live, Love, Laugh, and she literally like goes around and speaks at churches and schools and tries to inspire young girls to join the organization. Like I would never have had the ability. So to your point, I was like that too. Like, how does she even do that at the age of 9? Because I was squashed and I was made to shrink by my own family members because that's all they knew. So this is, to me, like young girls that are in organizations like Girls Live Love Laugh are way ahead of the game, you know, and way ahead of the game long before they even hit high school, as far as I see. So that's why I wanted to amplify their voices, and the idea to do a piece on them was really like, I mean, even just unfolding, like even as filmmakers, Shangze, you know, like when you're doing a documentary, it's not like it's a scripted film and you have the script already and you know what's going to be said. It unfolds in front of your eyes as well, right, Shangze? So there were things I'm like, this is amazing. Like as we're shooting or meeting with them or doing the interviews, it was like, oh, okay. So I learned a lot on the film. I don't know how Shangze felt, but that's kind of how I felt as well.
I mean, yeah, like I said before, earlier, it's like you need to have this patience to wait for things to unfold. And I think that's one thing that really differs between the cinematographer in documentary and fiction film, is that you really have to wait for things to happen. Sometimes you just be there for the whole day and nothing happens. You got nothing to feed your camera, and you have to go back the day next to, like after. You just have to be there all the time and just wait for it. But when that things happen, that's like, you know, we call it the money shot. That's the money shot moment. If you got it, it's worth it.
You know, I wanted to say that because earlier they asked what about me working what I did with the children. I'm actually an artist out of Newark, New Jersey, and I'm with the artist group 3 The Art Way, which we do murals, paintings, portraits, logos, and my mother and my brother is with that art team. So me working with the children, we did paint and sips. Not like, you know, paint and sip juice box, stuff like that, but we did some good creative things that was positive for them. And for me to pass that on and see that, to keep the love of art going, to see how we can kind of inspire them through art, because everybody is not an artist, but you can just tap into that mindset of them and bring out something positive. And that's what we did. And I do appreciate the times that we shared and the times that we filmed, because being behind the scenes and seeing how Shangze and Lisa and, you know, working on this stuff and then seeing it come to fruition and be completed is an honor, you know, and I'm happy to be a part of that.
Thank you.
Before I see if Destiny wanted to had any final comments, Kim, you have a big shout out from your Aunt Jill and Uncle Stan. I think you said something to them in the chat, but say hello to them on camera as well.
I was gonna wait until everyone stopped talking so I can reply.
See, that's why you didn't master.
Etiquette.
How polite.
Yes.
Yeah, like Allison said, those etiquette classes.
Yes, yep. And let me just say this. I remember, I don't know if you remember this, Kamryn, because I was afraid, because I don't have kids, so I'm not around little kids that often. And so when little kids do things, I get scared. So we were supposed to shoot her speaking at a church in Newark to inspire young people to join Girls Live Love Laugh. And if you're boys, tell your sisters. So that day she was really sick and she was hopped up on, I don't know, Benadryl. I mean, she was sick. So we had the cameras and I'm like, she's sick. So I said, no, I said, Suliman, don't let her, no. And she insisted. Remember that night, Kamryn? And she was just talking about Girls Live Love Laugh. She had no smile, but she pushed through. So if you can talk about what made you, even when you were sick, you wanted to stay with the date and continue on, and your dad didn't make you and we didn't make you. Remember that day, why did you want to still talk even though you were very ill and you wanted to still tell people about Girls Live, Love, Laugh, and you're the ambassador and why it's great to be at the organization? Because I just never knew why she did it.
Well,
that was crazy.
I knew that, like, if I did that, then I would have a chance to meet more young girls and I would have a chance to, like, teach them more things. And basically, my mom's a teacher. So, like, there's a lot of people, there's like 3 teachers, and my dad, he also was a security guard at a school. So, like, I've been experienced with learning, like, a lot. So I wanted to, like, I kind of pretended I was a teacher. And I wanted to, like, inform them of things.
Okay, that was good, because I was afraid, because Terrence, you're a dad. Like when I see little kids get sick, I'm thinking they're gonna throw up or something. I'm afraid of some reaction because kids vomit and stuff, and I was like scared of that. But it worked out. It was my own internal fear. I was like, oh, let her do it.
Look, I get nervous when we go outside, and if I feel it's too cold, my daughter says not too cold. I'm like, as a
Yeah,
want to wrap them up in blankets and towels, but they
yeah,
have their own thing. So I definitely, I get
yeah.
the
Kids are tougher than we think, is what I'm saying. I guess.
They
exactly.
are.
This is the exact thing
That's
that
like grandma and grandpas. They're tougher than we think too, right? And I say that because you're getting a great big shout out from your grandma too as well. You have some supporters. It's great to see family. Talk about that, the
Yes.
village supporting you, Miss James.
Well, my family has been with me through this entire third with starting the nonprofit organization. Every event that I have, they are there supporting me. My brother comes up from Maryland to Newark when I have events, just to see his sister. He's a proud brother slash father figure, so he loves to brag about the organization. My sisters, they support. They're always donating. I get on their nerve because every day I'm calling them, I need something, but they always show up and show out, so it's a wonderful feeling, to have their support, because we, once we lost our parents, all we had was each other. And still today, we lean on each other for support and for help. And they really have been there for me.
Allison and Lisa, what's next, and what can we do? This will obviously still be on YouTube. I mean, be on Facebook, and also we're going to upload it to our YouTube channel for the college. What's next, and what can we do besides obviously connecting with you about mentorship and volunteer opportunities? But what can we do to tell the good story and to spread the message?
Continue to spread the word about Girls Live, Love, Laugh, Inc. If there's a possibility to have our organization information on your website for volunteers, we're always looking for volunteers, especially college age women who's close to our girls' ages, because I'm getting older. They don't want to see Miss Allison all the time. They want to see girls and the women, young women, that's next to the age that can relate to what they're going through now. I don't understand the language they talk anymore. So when we in mentor programs, I'm like, can you say it in another language? I gotta Google, like, what does this mean? So we always looking for young women to volunteer for the organization. We have a lot of things planned for this year. Next month we're having our public speaking classes. Lisa just hosted her social media branding workshop with the girls. It was a huge success. We're having public speaking classes coming up. We're trying to turn our girls into social media influencers. And I know Lisa disliked that word, influencers, but that's what we're trying to do now. So we're giving them public
social media producers.
Classes. Yes, so we're doing the social media branding and public speaking, because social media is their lives. So if you're going to be on social media, let's do something positive. Talk about what you care about, what you're passionate about on social media. We have, I don't want to say everything that we have coming up, but of course, September the 15th is Girls Live, Love, Laugh, Inc. Day in the city of Newark, when the entire city gets to celebrate our organization. September the 14th is actually Allison James Day in the city of Newark, when they get to celebrate me. So my organization, it's like I have a full weekend on the city's calendar to support. So we're always looking for volunteers for that and funders. So I got to put that out there. So it's just an amazing experience to see where I came from and where I am at now, as a brown girl living in the projects, being poor, no resources, to where I am now. I'm giving back to my community. I'm helping raise all the girls in the world today that I come in contact with. I give out resources, making sure that these young girls have a life that I didn't have. So that's how the name came about. I want every girl to have a chance to live, love, and laugh, because on some days I never laugh. I didn't really know the true meaning of love, because I was at the point in my life where I wanted to just destroy myself, because my parents were gone. I didn't know where to turn to. It was just hard. And I don't wish that on anyone, any young girl, black or brown girl or whoever, to go through what I went through as a young adult. I didn't know how important resources were. I didn't know when my father died, I could have went and had therapy. No one said, hey, you get therapy for things like this. It was never taught to us in our zip code, should I say, in our community. So it's a proud feeling knowing that, you know, that I have the opportunity to help young girls in the city of Newark and other urban communities.
That's great. Also, I just wanted to say,
if I could say
oh,
something,
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Suliman.
you said something about, you know, therapy. That's very important. Mental health is
Yes,
yes, it is.
important. A lot of times people ignore that or feel like people might think, oh, you're crazy because you go to see a psychiatrist or whatever. But we do need somebody to help us get through these things.
We do.
And in the
And
urban
then,
community, it's almost like taboo to do that, which it shouldn't be, because we have such embedded things in our minds that we can't get by without venting it. So
Yeah.
yes, mental health is very key.
and we have to, and we have to try to get our politicians to give us free health care, because I don't have what they call good health care. So I have Medicaid, and I've been trying to find a therapist for 2 years, and nobody takes Medicaid. So it's not as simple as saying get a therapist, because unless you have good insurance, you can't find a therapist when you have Medicaid. I live in New Jersey. I can't find a therapist that takes my insurance. No one. I looked it up, even on their list. Even the list is dead. I reached it. So in other words, what I think I know this is kind of the conversation, but since you brought it up, we also need to work on how can we use our powers as speakers and leaders to get our politicians to pass legislation for universal health care, so that we can all get quality health care, including mental health care. Just throwing it out there.
Definitely. You want to say something?
Ms. James, you had something to say about a resource, maybe?
Yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I know Newark, we do have the Sheena Baraka Resource Center there. They have therapists there for mental health, for substance abuse, sexual abuse center, and domestic violence. It's like a one-stop shop for women. They have a lot of resources there that we can go to utilize. And I actually give back to that organization a lot.
And the leadership over there, Keisha and others, do an amazing job. And so I want to lead with that, and also say that sometimes, especially when you're dealing with sexual assault or domestic violence, going on Clinton Avenue may not feel safe to you, right? And so we also have to find places that are not in the midst of the trauma, where folks can maybe have an escape, because sometimes the atmosphere just not feeling safe, maybe someone seeing you walk inside of that facility, all those different concerns. And so I share that because that has come up. But they do great work there. Also, the Human Services Advisory Council, Essex County, has a committee of statewide resources. Folks who run different agencies from throughout the state serve on this particular committee, and they talk about these resources that are available to folks in Essex County and throughout the state. But of course, like many things, people of color, particularly that come from places like East Orange and Newark, either don't know about it or are not clear on how to access it. And so I thank you all for sharing that information, and addressing the importance of mental health.
The last thing you said, what's next for me? So the last thing I wanted to say is, like, I thank you, Terrence Bankston. Terrence Bankston saw the article and the story in NJ Spotlight and jumped on it and said, we want you to come to Bloomfield College S.E.R.V.E. to show your film and talk to young people about what you're doing as an organization, Girls of the Left, what you're doing, Lisa, as a director, what you're doing, Shangze, as a cinematographer and a creative, and what, you know, people are doing with your children. Suliman, he wanted to give us a platform to discuss this in the population that needs to hear what's going on, and help to bridge the generation gap between not just older people, but college students who can help with the organization. So I want to thank Bloomfield College again for getting behind not just something that we did for in this short documentary, Girls Matter, but you get behind all kinds of things like this, which is what you do best. I'm so impressed with what you're doing there, Terrence, and what Dr. Evans is doing. I've experienced you guys since Dr. Evans has been there and since you've been there. I mean, it's just wonderful. You're really boots on the ground. What's next for me, I'll speak for myself and then Shangze can have the last word. What's next for me is more of the same. I am a director, I'm a producer. So I want to finish my MFA, my Master's in Fine Arts from the School of Visual Arts in social documentary filmmaking, not just to direct and produce films. I was doing it before I went to school, but I also want to get back into the saddle as a college professor to teach media, because I believe that media is important. We still don't see Black and brown women in media. It's a blackout. So I want to get back in the saddle when I finish with my MFA, because some colleges want you to have a master's. They don't want to just go by you're a working professional. So I want to make sure when you ask that question, I got that too. And so that I can still invest in my community in that way, while also still producing documentaries. And I want to produce and direct documentaries about underserved communities, not just girls, but Black and brown people. But my main focus is on Black women and girls, because we just don't hear their stories. And if we do, they're angry. They can't keep a man. It's just all of these negative connotations around Black women and girls. So that's one of my, I've been a rabid feminist for years. So I just think that the extension of me would be putting films out there that are evergreen. And then I keep telling Allison, girl, I told you when I graduate, I'm gonna do the feature film featuring you in the Girls Matter feature film, feature documentary. So don't worry about it. So we always talk about that. So I wanna make this an extended feature film. And then lastly, the film is on the festival circuit. So let's hope we get accepted in more festivals and have more screenings so we can get the word out. So that's kind of what's next for me. And Shangze can have the last word about what's next for him, if he wants to share.
Thank you, Lisa. And
Thank you. No, thank you all.
Do as well. Mr. Lee?
You all is great.
Well, that was a question I was not expecting, because you know, because I'm the only one who doesn't have an American passport over here, and you know, the immigration kind of immigration environment over here right now is kind of like, it's not quite normal, right? So I don't know if when I reach my graduation, I have no idea what's the policy is going to be like. So I'm not quite sure what's my chance of really staying as a artist. So I will not say anything that's, you know, is still on the way. But my goal right now is the same as Lisa, just get that diploma, get that MFA, and hope for the best for my future, I guess. Yep.
Well, we wish you well, and we appreciate you being a part of tonight's event. And you know, we are one of the top schools for creative arts and technology. So maybe when you graduate, you want to come over to Bloomfield and help us out a little bit. But again, on behalf of the student leadership, and thank you to Samasia representing the Greek life, and also Destiny represents Greek life, but she represents our student government, for stepping in today. And we do have an organization on campus called First Ladies. I would love to definitely do a follow-up with them and you, and also many of the amazing women we have on campus that are not just students, but staff and faculty, and they come from places like this, so they can relate. My grandma would say, don't trust anyone that hasn't been through anything, right? And so I understand that relatability piece and that and being able to connect in that way. Again, I thank you all for your time. Brother Suliman, thank you for your leadership. Yes, and let me let you have, sir, the actual last word.
Terrence, you are a feminist. Terrence, you are a feminist.
Kamryn wanted to say something.
I got a 13-year-old daughter, I better be.
Yes.
You heard me?
Yes, Mr. Suliman.
Kamryn wanted to say something. She was waiting to say something, so.
Go ahead,
Kamryn. Go, Kamryn. Go, Kamryn. Go, Kamryn.
I wanted to thank my family that was supporting me here, like Auntie Jill, and I know that her and Uncle Stan were supporting me, Grandma, Auntie Kiva, and my mom, who's also on the Zoom.
Oh, that's
I appreciate
great.
everybody for having me as well. Everybody, we just want to keep on uplifting minds and being creative. Be safe out there, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you, Terrence. I'm looking forward to staying connected with Bloomfield College.
Yes, thank
Definitely.
you.
COVID will not stop us. We're going to find a way around it. So whatever we can do to volunteer remotely, if we can do some in-person support, we'll do that too. If we can do mentorship, we are going to move forward and work together. Definitely.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank everybody for coming.
So much, guys.
Everyone have a good evening.
Bye-bye. Thank everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.